Welcome back to First Take. The Knicks head to Atlanta tonight with the chance to close out the Hawks on the road in Game 6 after a dominant Game 5 win at Madison Square Garden, fueled by 39 points from Jalen Brunson. Meanwhile, the Celtics head to Philadelphia looking to close out the Sixers in Game 6 after Joel Embiid scored 33 to keep Philly alive. Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown looking to bounce back from a poor shooting performance to end Game 5. So who is more dangerous right now? Is it the Knicks? Or is it the Celtics, Kenny?
I would say the team with probably the easier route, if you look at it from just overall perspective, would be the Knicks, because you're playing against youth. You're playing against guys who particularly have not been in this position or have not been put in this position before. Where if you look on the Philadelphia side, you got Joel Embiid, Paul George, Maxey. These guys have been in some battle-tested environments already. So I would say that the Knicks would have an easier, so-called, looking at it from the outside looking in, they would have the easier route based on the lack of experience of the Atlanta Hawks.
Well, I'd agree with you, but for a different reason. I think the fact that the New York Knicks beat the Boston Celtics last year and the fact that they've really corrected the error of their ways over the last 2 games or so after back-to-back one-point losses, I think bodes well for them. I was very worried about the New York Knicks a week ago. I did not like what I was seeing. I did not like what I was getting, obviously, from the Karl Anthony Towns and definitely Mikal Bridges. Don't get me started with that. But I think that Mike Brown deserves a lot of credit. He put Mikal Bridges on the bench for chunks of time, put Jordan Clarkson out there, McBride out there, obviously using the big body of Mitchell Robinson to complement Cat. And they've been feeding the ball through Cat as opposed to through Brunson. Brunson has operated off the ball a little bit more over the last 2 games, Kenny. You know this better than me. I think that's a huge plus for the New York Knicks, and I think that's something that's a deviation from what we saw last year against Boston. And I think the issue for me personally is that even though Boston, led by the great Jaylen Brown, MVP candidate this year, and Jason Tatum, who's still showing his greatness, even though he hasn't found his groove with his three-point shot yet, Boston, as impressive as they've been for the most part, with the exception of a couple of losses in this series, they're still the same team, living and dying with the three. What I'm seeing from the New York Knicks is an ability to diversify their portfolio or their repertoire to some degree, and they're coming with different ways. They beat you in Game 1. They run you out of the building, and Jalen Brunson is doing his thing. They lose back-to-back games, all right? And then they said, excuse me, Karl Anthony Towns, it's time for you to be a greater presence. 11 passes. You know, he had a triple-double, and 11 passes that he threw were inside the three-point line, setting up pick and rolls, backdoor cuts, et cetera, et cetera. I'm looking at all of this, Kenny, and I'm like, yeah, that's what I want to see. Because you got not 1, but 3 dudes on the New York Knicks averaging at least 20 points a game in this series in Cat, Brunson, and Anunoby. Brunson shoot 46% from the field. Cat's at 59% from the field and 47% from three-point range. Anunoby's at 57% from the field and 54% from three-point range. That combined with Mike Brown exercising some depth, letting the offense run through Cat, showing the versatility. They're not one-dimensional now. And I think that that's something that's going to bode well for them to win this series, which I expect them to do tonight in Atlanta. And then they got Boston. And I think that they're going to be ready for Boston based on what I've seen the last 2 games.
Shay, I answered this question totally wrong. Because I'm looking at most dangerous, and I'm looking at this thing under the screen, Knicks or Celtics, like the series are over. But let's get this straight. Neither series is over. So we are not comparing the Knicks to the Celtics. Please don't do that. Do not put me in that mix that I thought that this series is over and that we are comparing the Knicks and Knicks and who's the most dangerous to go on and win it. Neither one of these teams are out of this series, and they have a long way to go to get out of it tonight.
All right.
Because a lot of people say series don't start until someone wins on the other team's court. I don't agree with that. I always thought that the series started when a team was faced with elimination. This is when the series starts.
I love my brother. We go back 40 years, Shay. This is my dog. You know I love him to death. But and we both have marvelous last names. Smith is a marvelous last name, but damn it, we a little bit different in this regard. We a little bit different in this regard, okay? The Celtics are going to a game 7. The Knicks are closing out the Hawks tonight. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Let me be very, very clear. Celtics going to game 7. The Knicks are closing it out tonight.
Okay, so that means
Okay,
Stephen A.
is that New York talking or is that the reality talking? That's what we'll see.
Damn it, it's all mixed. It's all mixed in the blender, baby. It's all mixed in the blender.
So that would mean Philadelphia would win tonight at home. What chance do you give the Sixers, Kenny, at home tonight against the Celtics?
A great chance because there is a new thing, a new danger that you have to take care of now, and that's Joel Embiid. You did not have to double team anyone on the Philadelphia 76ers, and no disrespect to Maxey, but you could let Maxey get 30 points. You can have a VJ Edgecombe get 30 points or 28 points. That's only 58 points. Where the rest of the baskets come from? But when Joel Embiid scores, he also can get your big men in foul trouble because he's also playing from the post. So his ability to score from so many different areas, you have to double him. If you don't come as you're watching these things, they are buckets when he's in rhythm. You have to come and double team him, which now opens up the floor for Maxey and Edgecombe to get easy 20 points instead of a tough 20 points. That's the difference. They go home and don't have to use the ice tub when they play with Joel Embiid. They can go home, they can go out, they can they can play with the kids. But when they don't have Joel Embiid, it's, we're going to rehab right after the game.
Stephen A., why are you so confident in Philly?
No, I just think that I just can't say enough about how I feel about Embiid, about how great he is, even hampered and injured. I just think that this brother, when he's on the basketball court, he's a difference maker. And I'm a huge fan of Tyrese Maxey, and this brother is something special. And VJ Edgecombe has exceeded my expectations from him. Their future is bright with that backcourt and what have you. I can see them. Boston usually answers the call on the road. Believe it or not, their problems are mostly at home as opposed to on the road. So it wouldn't surprise me if they win. I just don't think they're going to win this particular game. But I am of the mindset that when I look at Joel Embiid, and the man can barely get off the floor, and you still can't stop him. He ain't Jokic in that regard. He's hobbled, but he's so skilled. And I just think that the Sixers feed off of that. I think they will in game 6, which is why I think that they're going to force a game 7 before they lose. My man Charlie McKinney just texted me, talk about, thank you, the Sixers going to win the series. He got to get drug tested. They ain't beating the Celtics, okay? They ain't beating the Celtics in the series. Charlie don't do drugs, but damn it, get drug tested anyway, because you ain't winning this series, all right? But I do think Philly's going to win game 6. The New York Knicks, we closing this out. We appreciate what we saw from the Atlanta Hawks. Very good season, young team, got some promise. Bravo. It was nice. The ATL, you go down tonight. Knicks closing them out. Queens in the building, baby. Queens in the building. Knicks closing them out tonight. They closing them out.
I do tend to think Philadelphia's